In Mahopanishad it comes, Ayam Nijaha Parovetti Gadana Laguchetasam Udara Charitanam tu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The idea of thinking that these are mine and those are others, it comes only to the narrow-minded people. For the broad-minded ones, the whole world is one family. This is from our Upanishads. This is not something new to us. This is how we always lived as Indians. But in the recent times, maybe a couple of centuries, this idea has been diminishing, deteriorating, and almost disappearing in most of our minds, where everybody is told, you look after yourself, your family, your future, and don't really worry about what happens to others. First, you look out for yourself. And this idea is put in the minds of young boys and girls also by their parents and teachers and the people of the society. They teach them to look the other way when anything is going wrong with anybody else. And this habit of ignoring the welfare of others has brought our societies to this present state of absolute disharmony and disintegration. Why call only societies? Even within a home, there is an issue. Everybody, 4 people are not able to stay under one roof. I was reading some report on sustainability. Now this is a big buzzword, sustainability. But as Indians, we always lived very sustainably. We recycled our clothing, we recycled our objects, items, and we used and reused them till it could not be used anymore. Sustainability was always there. And this sustainability report was talking about how the need for housing is growing continuously, which means more requirement for housing material, construction material, more land, and more infrastructure like roads, drains, and all these things. And the reason for it is not just the increase in the population. The reason for this is because 4 people cannot stay under one roof anymore. They all want separate houses. Compare it to a joint family that used to be the way of life here, where, 5 brothers or 6 brothers with their wives and children all lived in the same house of the father and the mother. They might have a slightly larger house, but then they lived all in the same place, more or less. But today, just increase in the population is not the reason for the increase in the requirement for housing. It's also the disintegration of families, where people do not want to live with each other. They can't live with each other. So the number of people who live under one roof in India is continuously declining from 6 or 5 earlier. Now it is coming down to less than 4. In the US and all, it is only 2 to 3. That is all maximum number of people who live under one roof. They have huge houses, but only 3 people live maximum. That's because they don't want to live with each other. It's more than, you can call it migration for opportunities, urbanization, all kinds of things. But at the end of the day, it's largely this. That is the way the trends are going. So imagine in a family itself, there is no family feeling. And we are here telling the whole world, no, you have to consider the whole world as your own. You have to worry about everybody's welfare and not just your own. That is the way you should live. Somebody asked me how to live, what is spirituality and how do I practice it. I said either you think everybody is your own or think nobody is your own. Between the two, you can't have a middle path. No, 50% are mine, other 50 are not mine. Those who are favorable and those who are my blood relations are mine, and those who are not, they have to take care of themselves. So either you think nobody is yours, sarvam, maya mayam, everything is maya. Either you think like that or sarvam brahma mayam, think everything is Brahman. Either think everybody is yours, and therefore you are responsible for everybody's welfare, or think nobody is yours. Don't differentiate between your children, your house, your family, your people, and others. This is what is the cause of all the problems in the world today. Now, I'm not saying you bring everybody and make them stay in your home. In mind, I am talking about, not physically. In the mind, you should always have this oneness, this feeling of togetherness and oneness. That is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Physically, we may or may not be able to stay under one roof, but mentally, we should never feel disconnected or disjoint, disintegrated. That is the biggest threat to the families. It has multiple cascading, debilitating effect on the cultures of the societies. Imagine children who do not want to stay with the parents, or parents who don't stay with their parents, that is grandparents. most of the values are not passed on to the next generation. Many of the children do not know basics of their own family traditions, customs, nothing. And nobody teaches them these higher values. The whole parenting and education is outsourced by paying some money. And nobody internally looks after the child as a member of, not as their family, but the member of the society who must be raised well. And these kind of new age parenting, new age family culture, nuclear families, now singular family, and now, they don't even want to have a family. The shift of human consciousness, not even shift, it is a decline in human consciousness is what we are looking at. At this point of time, the biggest message and the purest and the most important message to the world is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Don't just consider your own family as yours, but consider everybody as your family and work together for everyone's welfare. I'll give you an example. This is happening here most of the time. I watch people working for each other's welfare. There are so many people who are from other countries, but they support the education or health or whatever needs of children in India. So also there are Indians who support the healthcare or education needs in other countries. Why it is happening is because we consider that they are all ours. For instance, the Dodbalapur campus, which needs to be started in the coming academic year, it didn't start because of COVID and so many other things happened and things got delayed. Somebody from the US, a group from Atlanta, is supporting that institution. What have Atlanta people got to do with Dodbalapur district girls? Nothing much. They're not responsible. Nobody is going to catch their collars and ask, why did you not do something for the girls down there in India? Nobody can question them. They're not answerable. But within themselves, they feel that they have learned this lesson, that we are one family. And one word from me, they come forward and say, let us do something for them. Because Swami wants it, because they are Swami's children. And everybody is Swami. So that is the feeling with which people are coming forward and helping. And this perplexes, in fact, surprises and shocks many of our new visitors. They come and ask, how do you motivate and inspire so many people around the world to work for the greater good of humanity? They cannot imagine a place like this. Many of them express it with great surprise. And I tell them, in fact, this is the way we always live. This should be the normal. And I hope more people will take inspiration and come out to help more and more of their brothers and sisters in faraway lands also, not just around them, for the sake of this feeling that we are all just one family, we are all children of the same God. So that is the idea of why these campuses are started and why these people from around are supporting. And our Narsimurti said, why are we even thinking of giving everybody similar quality of things, Yes, there are children. I'm not against it. The parents, out of love, give them some things which are slightly higher quality, sometimes little expensive. Though I have clearly told all our wardens, don't allow parents to give expensive items or things to their children in the hostel, because there are other children who do not have it. I'm not saying the parents cannot pamper their children. Maybe they can, but at an institution like this, which is a gurukula, even when Sri Rama went to a gurukula, he wore what was gurukula's dress. He didn't wear pearls and jewelry and roamed around like a prince. He lived just like everybody else. So also Krishna, we know the story of Kuchela and Krishna. Both lived together, did the same work. We know they went to the forest to collect the firewood, and then Kuchela ate away all the things that adkulu, the beaten rice that the Guru Mata had given for both of them. And because of that, he had to suffer through poverty, and eventually Krishna redeemed him by receiving a handful of beaten rice from him. So, but the idea is that Krishna was also eating the same beaten rice given by Gurukula Mata. Also, Kuchela was eating, though Kuchela was a poor Brahmin and Krishna was a prince. It didn't matter. When God himself, who came as an avatar and a prince, went to a Gurukulam, lived like a commoner between all the other students and never had any special privileges, nor his kingdom was not sending special mattresses and blankets and gadgets to look after his comfort and welfare, or special snacks and all that. He was eating the same atkulu, the beaten rice which Kuchela was eating, in the same Gurukulam made by the same Guru Mata, irrespective of whether you are a prince or a pauper. That if you really want to call ourselves Gurukula, then we must really, in the letter and spirit, we must follow the rules of Gurukulam. And rules of Gurukulam is equality of all. No partiality, no difference. All should be treated as same. Because they don't pay any fee, so therefore there is no differentiation. Second, everything is provided by the Gurukulam. Parents have to just leave the child and go back. They can't give him a trunk full of clothing and some gadgets and some other items for his comfort and convenience. It's not allowed in Gurukula. In old Gurukula, parents were supposed to bring the child. Guru will give one dress, which is nothing but a small panche and angavastram. That was the dress. And all the silver, silk, gold and jewelry, everything the parents had to take it back. They cannot bring it inside the Gurukulam. This was the Paddhati. And if we really want to call it a Gurukulam, then we must follow it to the T. And that is the idea why we must have all children get the same quality of things. Quality may not be a very high quality, but sufficient enough, decent enough, and dignified enough. That's all we are looking at. So till you are in the Gurukulam, from the day one to the first day to the last, you all get equal treatment, equal food, same kind of treatment, same kind of clothing, same items to use. You go home and do what you want, that is up to you. But here it is that way. So this is the why I am explaining to this is that this is the idea of why we are implementing this. More than being compassionate, more than being kind, it is simply the way it should be done. There is no argument beyond that. This is how Gurukulas should have been run, and this is how we should run and set an example. It's not enough if you put a board called Gurukulam. There are plenty of international schools, they use now Sanskrit words are fashionable, so they all put big words in Sanskrit and say, we are also a Gurukulam. But there is nothing that Gurukulam happening over there. So this brings me to the next topic. If there are kids who are here in the ashram also, these small ones who are from 1st to 5th or in kindergarten, most of them go to the schools outside. And some of them go and come at 3:30, 4 in the afternoon with baggage of homework. And they don't have time for anything else. Also at the same time, the quality of education, the quality of culture, I'm not too sure of. In fact, when I had gone to Prashanti Balmandir school, then I saw, and I thought, okay, let me see where these kids go every morning and what they do. And I saw it was simply an apartment like a building. In that first floor, they have created one small room. In that, I don't know how many children are stuffed, and all of them are studying there. I said, that's tragic. I want to put children in the nature and make them how they should think, and you put them all in a city within a small room. This is not the way to grow children. So many parents told that you must start a school, small school for the children in the ashram, and they're growing in numbers also. So earlier there were only 5, 6 of them, and there was not worth starting a school. But now that there are many of them, at least 35, 40 of them, I believe. And then there are also those who work in the kindergarten. So we are going to start a facility here within the ashram, and all the parents must cooperate and put those children back. Again, it is on the NIOS pattern. NIOS allows you to write 3rd standard exam, 5th standard exam, and then of course 6th onwards they join the mainstream, and 8th, 10th and 12th boards are there. So this will be organized by the ashram, and facilities will be created, whatever is required, teachers, everything else will be provided for. The only thing is that they must they must find whatever TC or whatever for the next academic year. So we'll start from June once the holidays get over. Meanwhile, I have told some of the elderly ladies and ashram people to engage the children in the evening for 1.5 hours. Teach them. See, earlier they remembered Bhagavad Gita and all that, because COVID time, they couldn't go outside anywhere. And parents could not keep them inside for a long time. So everybody was given to teachers who were teaching them Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads and Shlokas and Suktams and all that. They were doing very well. Now I asked somebody, they've forgotten Bhagavad Gita. That time they were repeating it like continuously, but now they've forgotten because it's not happening. And similarly, at the same time, they're all growing, so a little bit of naughtiness. So every evening they'll be engaged in some way or the other. Some day with sports and yoga, some day with some other creative activity, some day with Balavikas. So there are other people in the ashram, there are ladies. I have asked them to look after that program as well. So for immediately, we'll start with the evening, some engagement program for 1.5 hours or so. And for June onwards, all kindergarten, that is what you call play school, till 5th will be providing within the campus. So all children can study here, need not go outside. So that is why I went and asked the children whether you are happy to study here if you open the school, or you want to go out. And what I heard from them was that they all wanted to study inside only. They didn't want to go outside, so I'm very happy about it. I feel very bad. Small children sent into faraway schools at 7 o'clock in the morning, and in buses, and then they come back tired at 3:30, and then they have so much of homework to complete before the evening, and they don't enjoy. When we are doing so much from 6th onwards for so many children, why should we not look after our own people? It was our thought. For me, all children are same, whether they're studying in Muddenahalli or they're studying in faraway campus in Gulbarga or in Karwar or in Nalakadanhalli or Hyderabad or wherever in Tamil Nadu, all are equal to me. They might have they might have received some extra things, like the building might be better because the buildings got built earlier. Somebody might not have got the same building facility. Some places, maybe there are playgrounds, there are better equipment. Some places they may not be there. It may be physically different because of whatever hundreds of reasons, including finances, expenses, and things like that. But within my heart, I have never differentiated that, no, these are Muddenahalli children, those are Mandya children. That is why we wanted the sports meet to be a mixed team and make sure that everybody gets to play with each other. That difference has never been in my heart. So also our chairpersons and the deputy chairpersons, wardens, principals should never keep that feeling in their hearts. So to the extent possible, we try to ensure everybody gets equal, all privileges and opportunities. But geographies are different, and those children so lovingly adjusted in whatever little place that they had. And when I asked them also, none of the campuses ever saw. Chairpersons came and told, it'll be good if we have this, if we do that, because they know the practical difficulties. Nowhere any child said that, no, Swami, we need this, we need that. I asked 2-3 times, what else you need, what else you need. They never told me that need a big, better playgrounds, they need better hostel facilities, they want bigger rooms. Nobody said anywhere. But I felt bad for many of them, seeing, ayo, they are all living in such difficult conditions. No, this is not as good as elsewhere. But it's a matter of time, it's a matter of time. And that is why you should never feel that thing within yourself, because I don't feel that for anyone. And as I said, either you become like me, who feels everybody is yours, or become a sannyasi or monk who does not, somebody who runs away to Himalayas, that nobody is mine. Then run away from your family and your people also, then it's right. You can't keep your family around and say, no, this is my responsibility, all those are not mine. And our organization's soul is oneness and equality. Love, equal love for all, consideration for all, kindness for all, feeling everybody is ours. That feeling, whether you're rich or poor, you come from a staff's house or you come from some rural remote village, it doesn't make any difference to me. I may know some people by name because I have been interacting with them. I may not know some people by name because I don't meet them or talk to them often. It does not mean that I have any lesser love or greater love for anybody here. Please don't think like that. In fact, anybody who is around me, it's only because they have more responsibilities. That's why they have to be spoken to often. And they give more work and things like that. So nobody should carry such feelings within one's heart across the institution. If we cannot set this example, how am I to tell the whole world that we should feel that we are one family? How am I to tell the East and the West and the countries and cultures to think alike and think like one? How is it possible? It's not possible for me. If we cannot prove it here, we cannot prove it anywhere else. So please never think like this, that we are different. We are all the same members of the same family. According to our age and needs, things are provided. But one thing that I really wanted to ensure from the coming year is that everybody is given equal opportunity, equal quality, and equal treatment in all respects. And this goes to the teachers also. Some children may be smart and more pleasant in their behavior or things like that. And naturally you get a little more pally with them and you want to spend more time with them because it's easy. And some children may not be that clean or whatever, courteous and obedient as you expect, so you distance them. This kind of treatment also is not allowed. Take everybody along or don't take anybody along, you also go. But take everybody along. As far as possible, make sure that you have the same feeling for all in your heart. The same love. Everybody's welfare should be your primary concern here. And that includes your welfare and your children's welfare also. So things like these have to be implemented practically. I'm not saying it is not there. It is there. 90% we follow. But there are some cases here and there, some people do not follow. They feel the difference. This is mine, that is theirs, and things like that. That feeling should go away. Only then you will be able to realize the higher truth. Somebody asked me, how do I realize the truth? How do I become you? I said, feel like I feel, think like I think, speak like I speak, do like I do. Feel as I feel, think as I think, speak as I speak, and do as I do. You will become me. That is the only way. If you can't feel like me, you can't become me. You can't speak like me, you can't become me. You can't do like me, you can't become me. Forget about all the realization of consciousness, Brahman and all that later. Become like your own teacher, become like your own guru. That is the first step. Then you realize what is Brahman and all that stuff. For that, you have to feel like me. You have to think and speak and act like me. And that, if it has, I have to define it in one word, it is sameness for all, oneness of all. That is that is the definition of how I feel, think, speak, and do. Sameness, oneness. This is how I think. And you all have to develop that. It's very important. This is the only way we can teach the rest of the world to also become like us. Eventually, many people are coming, they're watching us, they go back inspired. They are industrialists, CEOs, they run organizations, huge organizations, thousands of employees. They come and ask me, how do you maintain this culture? How do you maneuver this huge organization with so many people? And I tell them only one thing, I feel everybody is mine. I treat all of them as mine. That is the only secret to my success or to this organization's success. The child in the last row of a watchman is equally a child of mine as the child of a surgeon or a privileged doctor. It's the same for me. I don't see the difference between it. Work-wise, they might be doing different work. Behavior-wise, language-wise, and background may be different. But for me, they are part of my family. They are all one. Especially when it comes to children, because they are not yet qualified to be called so and such persons, they all the more are easy to love them as one. So our teachers, our chairpersons, deputy chairpersons, and ashram people, they have to treat all the children as their children, or treat nobody as your children. Even when your child comes home and asks for privileges, don't treat well. That is one way. That you can't do. Then the only option is treat everybody well. Treat everybody as your own. This is this way to our Indian culture. This is the secret of our Indian culture, where we all lived as one family. And I'm sure with our efforts, it's possible. And we will set this example, and this will inspire many more people who will come. And I hope that one day the whole world feels like how we feel, think, and act. And that will be the Swargam. That is the heaven on earth. Kingdom, thy kingdom come, they say. That is thy kingdom, where everybody feels equal love for everyone. That is the kingdom. Even animals, plants, birds, everybody. That is the kingdom that we talk about. And it's possible from here. If there is a kingdom like that must come on earth, then this should be its capital. And you are the first citizens of such a kingdom. So you have a huge responsibility.